2018 BMW 5 Series. Last spring, BMW invited us to drive the new for 2018 5 Series sedan in what was described as early development form. That's code for European spec cars cloaked in camouflage inside and out, with the chassis still using interim calibrations. This experience turned out to be a brain-picking session. Before key settings were finalized for production, scheduled to begin before the end of this year, our BMW hosts wanted to know our opinions of where they're heading with the brand's second best-selling product line, globally, behind only the 3 Series. We're now finally allowed to share them with you. Public back roads in Northeast Wales have served BMW's hands-on development needs for years. The team resides for weeks at a medieval castle. Its location is kept secret from the public, where the cuisine is excellent but cell service is spotty. Meetings are infrequent. Instead, the team spends time on the well-maintained roads, where there's minimal traffic and the law enforcement authorities put top priority on clearing rogue sheep from the pavement. In terms of variety, elevation change, twists, turns, and gentle bumps, these are some of the world's best roads. The narrow lanes, which funnel down to single-car width at times, place a high priority on steering precision, particularly given that these are left-hand drive cars driven on the left side of the road. The views across the snow-capped Clwyddian range toward England were spectacular on the 60-mile route we drove. The weather is typically mild and the rains are frequent but tolerable. Thanks to the mildly aggressive pavement surfaces and the road's ground profile, these routes never become excessively slippery and they dry quickly. There was ample opportunity to experience acceleration, cornering, and braking dynamics. The test car selection consisted of 3 variants of the new 5 Series, codenamed G30. 1. A rear-drive, S-Drive, 540i equipped with IAS and VDC. Decoded, these labels stand for Integral Active Steering, that's 4-wheel steering, and variable damper control. 2. A 530d with X-Drive, all-wheel drive, a sport suspension, and IAS. 3. A rear-drive 530i equipped with a co-driver operating a laptop wired to vary the car's steering characteristics. BMW engineers declared the key goals for the 7th generation 5 Series to be the following: sustain the current model's sales success amounting to 2 million cars, globally, in the past 5 years, be the sportiest entry in the luxury mid-size segment, provide a smooth ride with excellent body motion control and outstanding agility, and offer customers around the world a business-oriented limousine equipped with a pleasant sport suspension. Key dimensions have changed little from the 6th generation design. A major advancement is a claimed 220-pound reduction in curb weight and a lower center of gravity achieved with more extensive use of lighter materials, joined in places with structural adhesives. The roof, doors, and deckard are aluminum. A die-cast magnesium beam runs between the B-pillars. While the unibody is mainly steel, aluminum castings and extrusions are used in key areas to provide the desired stiffness with the lightest practical weight. There was no mention of the carbon fiber elements used to trim weight in the current 7 Series. Run-flat tires are used extensively, as usual, because BMW says its customers regard the security they provide as a major asset. Tuning efforts focus on the run-flats first because they're heavier and have stiffer sidewalls than the conventional tires offered as standard or optional equipment in some markets. A significant new feature is an adaptive button on the center console that automatically switches between comfort and sport chassis modes depending on the driver's speed and behavior. When adaptive is selected, throttle response, transmission shift schedule, steering effort, and damping firmness all change according to the console button positions: Sport, Comfort, Adaptive, and Eco Pro. BMW's brilliant damper tuner Joe's Van chaperoned our drive in the turbocharged 6-cylinder 540i, which was riding on conventional, non-run flat tires. This car's steering was impressive thanks to a narrow on-center dead spot, immediate off-center response, and commendable precision. Our one gripe was that the steering effort was much lighter than we believe is most appropriate for a BMW. The dampers provided competent control over body motion with no hint of harshness. Aggressive braking while turning did not fluster this 5 Series one iota. Next up was the 530d equipped with all-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, the sport suspension, and run-flat 19-inch tires. Here, our host was Manfred Arens, BMW's functional design driving dynamics manager for the 5 Series. Arns reported that development work begins with calibrations for the comfort mode before attention shifts to the more enthusiast-oriented suspension settings. Pressing the sport button on the console varies steering effort, transmission operation, and throttle response. No adaptive suspension in this car. The sport suspension dampers have a fixed calibration, and the ride height is 0.4 inch lower. According to Arns, 15 to 20% of US customers will choose the more handling-oriented suspension. We found this car too firm, even on the smooth Welsh roads, and not ideally suited to the tortured pavement common in the United States. The road texture excited the tire treads, sending noise and harshness straight into the cabin. The steering was perfect for effort but numb feeling and totally lacking in feedback from the road. Tapping the sport button raises steering effort by 10%, a change we found barely noticeable. Under the heading of general observations, we were impressed by the new 5's structural integrity. As intended, it feels light on its feet and it responds in a distinctly linear manner to steering commands. The steering is tight on center and not disturbed by brake applications. But we found the base steering effort too low, and feedback from the road through the guidance hardware to the driver's hands is totally absent. Alexander Mesk, BMW's head of integrated application driving dynamics for the 5 Series, hosted our final drive in a 530i equipped with base suspension, conventional non-adjustable dampers, rear drive, and 18-inch run-flat tires. His task was to change steering calibrations on the fly via his laptop to determine if such alterations were perceptible and appreciated by the driver. At the touch of his computer, he could vary the width of the steering effort valley at the on-center location and change the slope of the effort increase curves. We had no difficulty detecting exactly what he was up to. After successfully passing his test, we challenged Mesk to tweak the variables that interested us most: how quickly the steering responds and the amount of road feel and feedback it delivers to the driver. Unfortunately, changing those calibrations are beyond the reach of Mesk's computer dialogue with the 5 Series' electrically assisted rack and pinion steering. He stressed that few, if any, BMW customers around the globe are requesting more tactility in their steering. Instead, the opposite is true. One of the most frequent words voiced during customer surveys is isolation. The buyers find that a desirable trait. Let's hope that the astute BMW engineers responsible for determining the 5's personality keep all the well-meaning suggestions they've gathered in perspective. A growing fan club is a wonderful thing as long as the core virtues supporting BMW's reputation, impeccable dynamics enhanced by an intelligent dialogue with the driver, aren't forgotten. The new BMW 5 Series will bow at the Detroit Auto Show in January, and cars should arrive at US dealers shortly thereafter.